Good evening, viewers. This is Wellness Coaching with Elvire Theron, and we are at session number 10. And tonight we're dealing with personal development. And it's my privilege to have Dr. Shirley Magazi with me tonight on the platform, together with Dr. Leah and Valencia. So I'm going to invite you all, viewers, just begin to share this platform and invite some more people, get connected, get your cup of coffee or tea ready, because tonight we're in for a big surprise. Uh, we are going to get information how to grow on personal development. So I'm going to give over to Dr. Leah to just introduce herself shortly, and then Valencia. Dr. Leah, kindly introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leah Elago, and I am in Windhoek. I'm here. I'm thanking Apostle Elvire for inviting me to this platform once again for personal development, and I'm ready to receive what Pastor Shirley Magazi, Dr. Shirley Magazi, has prepared for us today.
Thank you, Dr. Leah. It's such an honor to have you on this platform tonight. We are dealing with the wheel of life in wellness coaching. We have covered the topic relationship with God, family foundations. Tonight we're doing personal development. We've covered health and fitness. And last week we've done business and finances. So after personal development, we're still going to do fun and leisure and recreation and romantic relationships. So we've got 2 more sessions left after this one tonight. So I see Valencia's back. Valencia, I would ask you just to turn around your camera because I see its portrait. It's kind of upside down. So kindly just turn it around for me. Yes, that's much better. Valencia, kindly introduce yourself.
My name is Valencia, all the way from Soccerwood, and I'm excited to be a part of this session.
Welcome, Valencia. We've got the coast in the house, we've got Windhoek in the house, and the east. So it is my honor now to introduce to you Dr. Shirley. Dr. Shirley and I have been working together for many years, over 20 years, in ministry. So tonight we're meeting on a different assignment and platform, and I am looking so forward to see her in a complete new office tonight, because I'm used to the minister of God. That she's running a church together with her husband, Pastor Shirley Magazi, Generation Christ Bible Church in Windhoek in Namibia. And she is a speaker and a coach as well. And I think there's so much more other things she can do. And I think she can introduce herself properly so that you know who we're dealing with tonight. So I just want to see some people that's locked in to the platform. Good evening, Jennifer. I see you are there. Honorable Chrissy is in the house. I cannot see the other. I see now Pastor Randall Jacobs from Wolfish Bay is locked in. Don't go away. Stay tuned. We are up for something awesome in the house. So I'm going to give over to Dr. Shirley Magazi. Welcome, Doctor, tonight. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. For the purpose of this platform, I'll call you Coach Elvire Theron. Is that fine?
You can just call me. You can go with
because we're in a different capacity right now.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to be on this platform, and thank you very much for the invite and for our audience that have also joined in with us. I'm excited for what's going to happen today and just having a discussion on personal development. My name is Shirley Magazi. I'm a certified life coach with New Insight Africa. but then I also did my doctorate in business and organizational leadership, and got my business coaching certification there as well. So I'm going to speak in the capacity of a coach and not in any other capacity.
That's
And
right.
I understand that today we're talking on personal development, a very, very dear topic to me. It's one of the, it's actually a topic that I lecture at the African Leadership Institute right here in Windhoek. So it's a topic that's very dear to me. But having said, let's delve into today's topic, and please do make some notes if you have any questions. Let's connect, and let's just have an informal discussion about personal development. Well, let me outline what the objective of this session will be. And the objective is then to enlighten our viewers on the importance and need for personal development. And so in the session, I will touch on what personal development is and what it is not, the process of personal development. I will perhaps also touch on some few pointers that I will mention, perhaps some few key words that I'll mention that may need defining. And then if time allows us, I will look into the benefits of personal development. So please do let us know from where you are watching from and what area interests you in regard to today's topic. Let me first of all, before I go in, just congratulate Elvire Theron, Coach Elvira, for the good work that you're doing, and just bringing out there these essential topics that people need greater understanding on. Great. Let us delve in. Let's define what personal development is. Let's start at looking at what it is, and then we will look at what it is not. So in a nutshell, what personal development is, it is progressive movement. It is a lifelong process. It is individually focused. It is a learning process. It is a self-actualization process. It is a self-enhancement process. So you will hear me, as I define it, I kept on referring to the fact that it is a process. So what it is not, and I need to highlight this, it is not collective. It is focused on the individual. In other words, you cannot cut and paste somebody else's personal development plan and make it your own. It is an individually based focus process that looks at the person at hand. It is not an event, it is a process. And so you cannot equate having gone to a training and say, oh, that's my personal development. No, it is a process, and we will go further into understand that. It is very important to underpin the fact that not every movement in your life is development. So it's important to understand. I said I defined it as progressive movement. So you are enhancing yourself. You're moving in a particular direction. So it's moving forward. It's not moving backward. It's not stagnation. But it does not mean the fact that there's movement in your life, the fact that there's activity taking place in your life, does not mean that it equates to personal development. Personal development has to be linked with where you are going as an individual. So that takes us to the process of understanding what personal development is. Like I said, it touches on self-enhancement. So it is enhancing your skills, your abilities, your knowledge, your qualities based on, and this is very important, based on one's purpose, vision, mission, goals, dreams, and whatever else that you'd want to put in there in your life. So it has to be aligned with where you are going to, the direction that you are taking in your life. For example, if my vision in life is to become a singer, it will be very pointless for me to be reading on books or go for training that has to do with makeup, for example, or for example, teaching if my vision is in singing or as an artist. So whatever development that I embark upon needs to align itself with my purpose, with my mission in life, with my vision in life, with my strategic direction in life. So it is not just the fact that I am training myself or enhancing myself that you can equate it to personal development. It has to tie in with where you are going to. The aim of personal development is to realize and fulfill your potential in line with your personal goals, your vision, your purpose, like I had said earlier on. Now, let me just stop here for a while. We have so much potential, and we have potential in so many areas. For example, each and every one of us have potential to steal. Each and every one of us have potential to lie. Each and every one of us have potential to do negative things. But simply because you have the potential to do it does not mean that you should go ahead and do it. Okay? So we need to understand what potential in me aligns itself with where I am going to. So the big focus on this is your purpose in life, your vision in life, where it is that you are going to. That is the potential that you should develop. That is the potential that you should focus on. That is the potential that you need to start equipping yourself with, because that is what will have maximum impact in your life. I hope this is very clear. And so I know you're writing questions in the event that you have any questions, but it's very important that we understand that. And perhaps you may be asking, so purpose, what is purpose? What is vision? What's mission? I'll leave that up to you if you have that question, but let me just progress on for now and then allow you to have any, to write us any questions that you may have and so forth. So let me summarize again, just where I had started before I move on. It's very important that we're at the same page. Personal development focuses on the individual. It's something personal to you. In other words, what is development for one individual is not necessarily development for another. It is uniquely crafted for an individual, because we all have different purposes in life. We all have different visions and missions and goals in life. So it cannot be a cut and paste. It is something that needs to be individually crafted for an individual based on the strategic direction of their lives. Very important as well, like I said, not every movement in your life, because personal development is progressive movement, it's progressive enhancement. Not every movement in your life is necessarily development. It is those movements in your life that take you toward the direction of your life. All right, now why is it so important for us to embark upon personal development? From a scholarly viewpoint, personal development fulfills the need that all human beings have, which is the need of self-actualization. And if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is a need that every person has, and it's at the pinnacle of the hierarchy of needs. According to Maslow, that is, once you have fulfilled all the other needs, that is the need that you then are working towards to. Now, obviously, I may not necessarily agree with Maslow's hierarchy of needs because of the way he describes it. But one thing I do agree with him, that yes, every human being has a need for self-actualization. And that is why it is one of the reasons it is important for us to embark upon personal development, because it's an inward need that you have. And you may be asking yourself, what is self-actualization? It is the desire that every person has to become everything that they are capable of becoming. In my own personal description of self-actualization, and ties in with my mission in life, is it is becoming everything that God has created you to be. and with nothing lacking, with nothing missing. So that is what we are all striving to become. And as we are striving to become that, we embark upon what we call a personal development process. Now, what needs to be in place for you to really fulfill that process in your life? Because remember, I had earlier on said that a personal development is a process that enhances your skills, it enhances your abilities, it enhances your qualities in life, in line with your purpose, in line with your vision, in line with your mission, in line with your goals. So it therefore stands to reason the very first step for you to embark upon personal development is coming in oneness with your purpose in life. In other words, you need to then identify what your purpose is in life. And I realize that as I do my coaching and do my trainings in particularly in this topic, I've noticed that that is one of the areas that people struggle a lot, is them identifying, why on earth am I here? What am I supposed to do? And it's important to note that when you have not realized your purpose in life, you somehow feel a sense that there's something lacking. You don't feel fulfilled. You keep on asking yourself the question of, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right direction in my life? But that is not our topic for today. This is just to mention that your first step in moving towards personal development is identifying your purpose in life. The second step would then be to formulate a vision for your life, because purpose and vision are not the same thing. So you need to formulate a vision for your life, and where is it that you see yourself? Where is it that you want to be in life? And once you have these two critical components identified in your life, you can then move into developing a strategic life plan for your life. Remember, I had mentioned that personal development must complement and must correspond with the strategic direction that your life is taking. Now, very often and most of the times, we embark upon strategic plans for at organizational level. And almost 90% of people that I coach, if I ask them this question, do you have a strategic life plan? The answer is always no. And we invest so much time in organizations and institutes, and we invest very little time in ourselves. And that is the core and essence of personal development. It's an investment in your own life so that you can be the best version of yourself to offer to the world. And so it is important that you need to develop a strategic life plan. And when I talk about a strategic life plan, and I remember the first time that I started talking about a strategic life plans many years ago, people looked at me like, but that is at an organizational level. You don't need to have a strategic life plan. But very important, trust me, you need to have one. It just adds value to your life. That's the reason why I am where I am. It's because of a strategic life plan that I developed in 2008, just to give direction for my life so that you are focused. It helps you to be focused. And so when I talk about the strategic life plan, it involves exactly that entire process of developing and undergoing a personal SWOT analysis, identifying what your strengths and weaknesses are, identifying your opportunities and threats, identifying what are you good at. So developing and assessing yourself in that line, and also assessing your life. Where are you? Where are you coming from? Where do you think you want to go to? So it's really embarking upon that, doing an environmental scan of your life. Where are you placed at? What is there that you can look into? And really formulating strategic goals for your life, and doing that whole entire process that we often do for companies or at institutional level, but now you are investing in you, the individual. And guess what? Everyone around you will benefit from it, because now you are developing something that will take you in a direction in your life and will help you improve to become the best version of you. So once you have undergone that whole process of developing a strategic life plan, and remember, I'm talking about the process of personal development. The fourth step, I would say, is identifying areas of growth. And these areas of growth that you then identify should be in line with the strategic goals that you have identified based on your strategic life plan. What are the areas that you need development in? What are the areas that are shortcoming? Once you've identified that, then you develop a action plan. And I must caution here that it is important for you to develop a costed action plan for your personal development. What is it going to cost you? How much is it going to cost you to develop yourself? And that is tied with your financial life plan, because now you are giving your finances meaning. Now you are giving your finances direction in one area of your life, which looks at your personal development and costed action plan for your personal development, so that it is streamlined, it is systematic, it is not haphazard. You plan your life. And someone once said, failure to plan is planning to fail. And so it is important that we plan for our lives, so that we don't ask ourselves at the end of the day, what just happened? That should never be a question in your life of what just happened. You should know what happened, because it needs to be in line with your plans. It gives you greater control of your life. It gives you a greater sense of direction in your life in terms of where it is that you are going. Before I continue, let me again just reiterate. Personal development does not happen in isolation. Personal development should correspond with your vision, your mission, your purpose in life. It should correspond with your strategic life plan in your life. Now, let's continue moving. I hope this is helping us so far as I continue. And it is important also that as you embark upon your personal development journey, I like to see it as a journey, because it starts somewhere and it progresses as it goes. There is a final destination. That final destination is your vision. And you can imagine your vision should always outgrow yourself. And so, take a journal, have a journal of your journey in life, a journal that documents your journey in personal development, in your personal development journey. It is also very important to keep on reviewing your progress, because you would want to know, where are you right now? Has anything happened? Has there been any development in your life? Has there been any progress in your life? What is it that you still need to work on? So it's important that as you are embarking upon this journey in your life, that you keep track of where you are. Be in control of your life. Don't wait for people to assess and review you. Review yourself. It is very, very, very important. And also remember to reward yourself. Remember to enjoy the journey. It should be enjoyable. It should not be a headache. It should not be something that it's a must do again. Add that part that is enjoyable, because at the end of the day, it's for yourself that you are doing this. So it's important that you make this an enjoyable process. I've seen people that have gone for trainings and they're like, you know what, I've just come here because my company has sent me here. And you know what happens? They don't receive as much as they can. It's not enjoyable for them. So it really becomes a waste to them, because their minds are not really there. So it's important that when you embark on this, that you really make it meaningful for you, because this is about you. The focus is about you. This is one of those times in your life that you can be selfish. It is about you. Yes, I just gave you permission to be selfish. Be selfish as you are developing yourself. Well, let me also just mention that it is as we embark on the journey of personal development, what it does, it increases your level or your levels of self-actualization. Remember, I said I define self-actualization as becoming all that God has created you to be, and so it taps into the potential that it has. It taps into the ability of empowerment and empowering yourself. And self-empowerment simply is just being in control of yourself, gaining control of your life. So it increases your levels of self-actualization. It increases your levels and feel of self-empowerment. It increases your levels of self-confidence. It improves the version of you, because you are improving yourself. You are becoming a better person. It increases your levels of confidence and self-belief. And at the end of it all, and the most important of it all, the world receives a better version of you. You like saying, I'm preparing myself to be a gift to the world. Isn't that just so beautiful? Because at the end of the day, personal development does not end with yourself. It's like a vision. A vision is never about you. If your vision is about you, you've missed it, because your vision should be about people. Your purpose should be about people. It should not be about yourself. You are simply just the conduit to getting people to where it is that they want to be. So it is very important as we embark upon this that we realize the bigger picture of where it is that we find ourselves. And so you look at how it is. Once you've identified the areas that you want to develop, you find the best means of developing yourself. There are different ways of developing yourself. I've spoken to people that always feel short of developing themselves because they're looking at the financial part of it. But there's so many free courses. There are so many ways of developing yourself apart from formal training. And so it's creating that, including that creative flavor in your journey towards a personal development. You know what? Some of the personal development does not require financial investment. But I will tell you this, every personal development requires investment of time and energy from your part. So you are the central point of your personal development. No one else can do it for yourself. You need to do it for yourself. You need to take ownership of your journey in life. And so that is what makes it so important and so focused on the individual. Oh, Coach Tron, I think I have said quite a number of things. I don't know how I'm doing with time, if I can still continue. But let me pause here and hear from you.
Yeah, I think Dr. Shirley, you're doing great. That is a mouthful being said there. We are making notes as we are in class right now. We are students of life and we are learning from Dr. Magazi today. You're doing great so far. There's about still 20 minutes left, so maybe you can still share for another 10 minutes and then we can take questions. So I see some of the viewers are with us here and they're enjoying themselves. Please don't go away, but let us continue tapping in. So I like what you said when you said we should do a personal SWOT analysis, finding out our strengths and weaknesses, and review yourself. Don't wait for other people to review yourself. Reward yourself. And I like the fact that you've given us permission to be selfish, because I think we always pour ourselves out to the world and then we tend to be dried up and we lack the gift of selfishness, if we can call it a gift. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't give the world the best version of you. So yes, Dr. Shirley, so you can kindly continue for another 10 minutes. But so far, you're doing excellent.
Great. So let me perhaps just try and define the different terms that I have been using, because they are very important in your journey of personal development. I've spoken about purpose. That is the bedrock of personal development, and purpose guides you. Purpose is what gives you a direction. Your purpose articulates why you do what you do. Your purpose articulates why on earth are you here? Why are you on earth? Why do you exist? And this is where we then need to tap into our inner self. And I always tell whoever my people that I coach that, look, with these things you cannot take out God. Unfortunately, you can't take out God, because we did not create ourselves. So you need to tap into higher power. You need to tap into a force or source that is higher than you. And in my regard, that would be God, to tap into and ask critical questions in terms of, Lord, why am I here? So that you can really identify why God has placed you on earth. What role are you supposed to play in the world, in humanity, wherever it is that you have been placed? What is the role that you are supposed to play? So purpose guides you. It tells you the why of what you do. It tells you the why of why you are on earth. Now, if we look at mission, mission is supposed to drive you, because mission is what tells us how you are going to accomplish your purpose in life. What is it that you will have to put in place? It directs your path towards purpose as well as your vision. Mission is doing what matters and eliminating distractions. And that is why it is important to identify these important terminologies that I am using, because it's going to help you to be effective. It is going to help you to really narrow down which areas in your life and how best you can develop yourself, how best you can empower yourself, how best you can develop your skills, how best you can develop your abilities, how best you can develop your qualities. It minimizes so many voices, because remember, in the beginning I told you, you have potential for so many things, but simply because you have the potential does not mean that you need to invest in that potential to realize that potential. Potential just says you have the possibility of enacting something, but you don't need to invest in a potential that is not in line with where you are going. So personal development based on your purpose, mission, vision, and goals in life gives you focus. You are focused on where it is that you are going to, and you are then able to pull out distractions in your life. You're able to shut different voices in your life, and you just simply start living a much more efficient and effective life that is driven towards achieving certain strategic goals in your life. Vision obviously is where you aspire to be. What you will achieve. What is it? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Where do you see yourself 50 years from now? Vision is focused on the future. Vision is never focused on the now. Vision takes in where you are now and develops a picture of where you want to be. So the focus of vision is futuristic. It's a destiny. Where do you see yourself? Purpose looks at the now, what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Mission looks also at the now. It is driving you in the now, but vision drives you towards your future. Vision gives you reason why you want to continue living, having identified your purpose that guides you. Now you develop that passion, because what vision does, it develops a passion within you to want to achieve it and to want to go somewhere. So these are very important bedrocks of personal development, because it just helps you get to where you want to be. And obviously you then would want to have impact with wherever else it is that you want to go. So it is important that we then develop those goals. And what are those goals? Those goals is exactly those statements of what needs to be accomplished to implement your strategy, to implement your vision, to implement that which you said you would want to do. So your goals, the goals that you formulate, tell you what it is that must be accomplished. It's, for example, taking vision and breaking it down into steps of where it is that you want to go to. That is what goals do. They're able to take that vision that is so big and out there and breaking it down into smaller steps in terms of what is it that I need to accomplish now to get me to where I need to be. And what then happens, the minute that you start talking about goals, you then obviously have to start talking about objectives, which are those actions and timelines for achieving your goal. Now, I must say, I'm very strong on this, because one of my expertise is monitoring and evaluation, and I monitor and evaluate organizations and institutes in terms of how they achieve their strategic plans and their goals. And what I have noticed is that institutes are able to do so well because they have put structures in place. But at an individual level, we fail to do that. And so it's very important that at that individual level in your own life, develop those structures, develop those steps that needs to be put in place, because it will get you somewhere. It is not wasted. And I'm talking out of experience, because I do this with my life. I do this with my children. I do with all those that I coach, because it is just a necessity. It's not an option. Not if you want to be effective in life, not if you want to live an impactful a life. If you want to live an impactful life, you need to embark upon this. Coach Trot.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shirley. I'm going to open up for some questions. I see there's a question from King Clementine from Uganda. She's asking, what is a purpose and what is a mission? Maybe you can talk about that for a while.
Okay, I just defined what purpose is. Like I said, purpose is where you start. That is the why of everything. That is the why of your existence. Now, what are the type of questions that you can ask yourself if you want to develop your purpose? Because you want to understand why it is what I am doing. Why do I exist in life? And you can never talk about purpose without values, because your values are added to your purpose. So if I have to explain it as simple as possible, purpose is the reason why God has placed you on earth. Why do you exist? For example, my purpose is to communicate change in life. My purpose is to communicate change in people's lives. That is the reason I exist. And so everything else I do, is centered on communicating change. So perhaps I should then add on that there are certain questions that you can ask yourself, because I know this is an area where most people struggle so much identifying their purpose. And some of the questions you can ask yourself is, why do you believe you can make a difference? And this will help you identify the purpose, the reason for your purpose. Why is it that you think you can make a difference? Who do you need to work with to have that impact? How do you need to achieve? What do you need to do to achieve that impact? So these are critical questions that you can ask yourself to help identify your purpose. What will the impact look like when you have achieved it? So what purpose does is it tells you that purpose needs a reason. That is the why. Why is it that I want to do what I want to do? Why is it that I am on earth? It also means that purpose needs people. Remember I said in the beginning that purpose all of this that we're talking about, purpose, vision, mission, it is beyond ourselves. It needs to be people driven. It needs to be people centered. It is you acting out for somebody else for a result to be achieved. So what is that result that needs to be achieved? Purpose needs a plan. What is the impact that you would want to achieve? And purpose needs vision, like I had said earlier on. So if I have to summarize that, it is formulating a statement of why you exist on earth, and the why you exist on earth is the reason why you are on this earth. It needs to be centered on people. You need to know what is the results that it is that you would want to achieve with the reason why you exist. And then it will help you to formulate the vision that you would want to achieve. Now, the person also asked, what is mission? Mission is the how part. What is it that you must accomplish for your purpose? What is it that drives you every day to fulfill your purpose? It is a direct path to your purpose and your vision. Mission is the doing part. For example, we remember that, and I'll just take an example in the Bible, for example. Jesus' purpose was to come and set us free. His mission in life was to die for us on the cross. And so he was working himself towards that to fulfill his mission in life, which was to set us free. But before he could set us free, or before he could fulfill his vision, he had to carry out his purpose, was to reconcile us back to the Lord. His mission in life was to set us free. And in his setting us free, he had strategies, and the strategies that he embarked upon was delivering people. His strategies was preaching the gospel, and that was simply to fulfill his mission in life. So mission is action oriented. What is it that you need to do to fulfill your purpose in life?
Awesome, awesome, Doctor. I would like to know if Valencia or Dr. Leah has any questions. And if you're out there, viewers, if you have any questions on personal development, this is the time for questions. You can kindly post it there and I will read it out loud and we will address it right there. Valencia, do you have any question for us there?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shirley. Wow, that was very, 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 very powerful. I also just wanted to know, in the steps of personal development, many a times you may find individuals that need personal development in only one aspect of their areas, and then you find individuals that may need it in more than one aspect. I then wanted to know, can one say that you should have a strategic plan for each of the sectors of your life? For example, you find that some people's life have been so hoarded in trauma that they need to sort of have their own personal development out of the trauma sector to understand their purpose, to understand that there's other parts of life as well. That's my first question. Would it come down to having a vision and a mission for each and every one of these sections in your life? And two, my second question is gone.
Yeah, then we
Okay.
handle the question.
I'll get back at it. So yeah, that's the one question for now.
All right, great. Excellent question. A strategic life plan looks at your life in its entirety. Now, there are different areas in our lives, and understand that a part of this coaching process is looking at the life wheel, or the wheel of life. And the wheel of life identifies so many areas in your life. A strategic life plan is different from an action plan. Okay, action plans are area specific. Which area is it? Which area of my life do I want to work on? A strategic life plan looks at the entirety of your life. You as a whole individual, where is Shirley going to? what is Shirley's vision in life? Now, Shirley does not exist as just as a mother. Shirley has so many areas in her life that constitute who she is. Shirley is made out of her spiritual walk. Shirley is made out of her health. Shirley is made out of her physical well-being. Shirley is made out of her mental well-being. Shirley is made out of the different roles that she plays in her life. All of those areas in your life constitute the entirety of your life. And what a strategic life plan does is it looks at your life in your entirety. And so you develop strategic goals for every area of your life. Then you further on go on, and then you develop action plans for those areas of your life. All of that sums and consummates your strategic life plan. It is very important to understand that a strategic life plan is a living document. It is not something you develop today and you shelf it and you continue with your life. And then after 10 years or so, you come back and you see what is happening. It is a life document in the sense that it is a document as you continuing in the journey of life, you constantly review where you are and you make amendments to your life plan. What most probably happen is that your purpose, your vision, your mission, those are areas that really remain the same. What you would perhaps review occasionally is your goals. And your goals will be reviewed based on where you find yourself at that particular season of your life. So to answer your question, all areas of your life need to be included when you do your strategic life plan.
All right.
And then
Thank
you
you,
review
Dr.
the goals as you go. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Dr. Leah, any questions from your side?
Yes, please, Apostle. Dr. Shirley, when you were talking about self-actualization, I have one thing in my mind. I think it's a question, it's a question. How do you equip someone who's lost hope due to their environment or either lost hope to strive for self-actualization? Because, for example, you are trying to help someone to empower themselves, to improve themselves in any area, and they can't really even have the mindset, the mind to hold themselves together, to come up with a purpose, vision of their life because of what they're going through. And yeah, that was my first question. And my second question is, like, in the world we live today, we have so many voices, like you said. How does one focus on their goals, especially when you have parental voices and even pastoral voices?
All right.
Good questions.
Yeah, those are my
First one, it's very important that we define the difference between coaching and counseling. It's very difficult to coach someone that is broken, because what they need at the first entrance and point of help that person need is not coaching. The first point of entrance that person needs is therapeutic counseling. Is they need to be made whole emotionally or whatever it is that they are dealing with, so that they can once again see the reason for living. So that type of person I would first counsel, and there's a difference between counseling and coaching. So it is taking them first through a therapeutic process, which coaching is not. Coaching is helping someone that knows that they need to go someone they have, for some reason, a level of hope, a level of drive within them, and just needs a support to go to where they need to be. Someone that does not have that needs counseling. So the first point of help for that person would first be counseling before you move into coaching. That would be my first response to that. The second question that you asked is, how do you remain focused, or and help me if I'm correct, how do you remain focused on your purpose in life or your personal development with so many other voices that that you are experiencing that can come from different sources, whether from spiritual, from parental, or so forth. If I get that right, it is very important to communicate who you are. And lack of communication is often what brings people in dilemma in terms of how they can guide and how they can assist and how they can be a support to you. And what communication does, it eliminates assumptions. Eliminates assumptions of where you think the person needs to go. Now, obviously, we have parental guide advice that we get. You get spiritual guidance that you get, but people cannot guide you effectively if they do not know where you are going to, if they do not know what it is that what your vision is in life. And so it is very important that we communicate who we are. For example, people in my life, they know exactly what I stand for and what I don't stand for. They know exactly what it is that I am working towards. And so they're able to fit into where I am going to, because at the end of the day, this is your life. But you cannot assume that people know where you are going to if you have not communicated that. And if you have communicated to the people in your life in terms of where it is that you are going to, and still the guidance is outside of where you are going to, then obviously there's a misalignment in people, in the advice in your life. So it is important that once you have communicated and still the advice does not follow through, then it is then your responsibility to shut it out. But it's also very important to share a strategic life plan with people in your life that you believe a counsel, you can listen to their counsel, because then it just helps in terms of formulating your life further. That is why you see, when you do organizational strategic life plans, one of the steps of doing strategic plans is to consult stakeholders, to hear what stakeholders have to say about your organization. That is an important step equally when you are developing your life plan, because you would like to know, what do people think of you? What have they identified? What do they see in you? Because all of this formulates who you are. Because it is very important as an individual to realize that you do not live in silo. You do not live in isolation. You are placed wherever you are, and there are people around you that you are placed in. And whatever it is, wherever it is that you are going, involves people around you. So it's important, as we embark upon our strategic life plans and personal development, that we realize that we are not in silo. We should not operate in silo.
Thank you, Dr. Shirley.
Can I ask one more question?
Okay, doctor, just doctor, just hold it for me. We will come to that question. Just want to give one of you a chance to, there's a question on the platform. Belinda Mujanima is asking, how do I know when I have stepped into my purpose? How do I know if I have stepped into my purpose?
Excellent question. And I get that so many times. And this is where we employ spiritual leadership. And let me just give a caveat. Yes, spiritual leadership has got nothing to do with religion. Spiritual leadership is that inner being of you that knows that there is more to you than what you are experiencing. And when we employ the strategies of spiritual leadership within purpose, what we do tell our clients is that there's that inwardness in you that you will just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am at the right place. It is the ability to come into one with yourself. It is the ability to come and know who you are. We have intuition, and that intuition is God's way of letting us know when we are in the right path or wrong path. And take your life, for example, you just know at times without any physical explanation, without any logical explanation, you just know something. You just know something is off, or you just know something is right. You maybe move into a meeting and something is just off with you, or you just feel that this is it. It is that inward part of you that tells you you have arrived, that tells you you are in the right place. So one of the important things of self-actualization and spiritual leadership is helping people and coaching people to come into knowing of who they are and getting in tune with that silence voice of theirs that cannot be explained by logic, that cannot be explained by reason, that cannot be explained by anything else, but it's just a knowing in your knowing that you know. Now, my first degree is psychology, and in psychology, we have different terms for this, and I don't want to go into that, but if you look at different scholarly viewpoints about that inward part of you that cannot be explained by logic, that is that inward part of you that will tell you you have arrived. You just have a peace and just a sense of comfort. I am at the right place.
Yeah. Doctor, if I may add to it, I think it's also important if you're trying to find your purpose that you take a pen and paper and review yourself and ask yourself the questions that you mentioned, that the reason why you are on the earth. So sometimes people want other people to define them, but they really need to sit down and actually look into themselves and ask themselves the hard questions and discover themselves. So, yeah. There's a question on the platform from Jennifer Bieber. She's asking, please define self-actualization. She wants to understand the term better.
Okay. Let me explain self-actualization in that view of it is a need, okay? Let me take a physical need. One of the physical needs we have is safety. Another need, a physiological need we have is to eat. You need food. So needs are those things in your life that you cannot do without. It is it's a nudge, a nudging in you that that makes you feel like there's a void in you. And so the need for self-actualization is that desire to fulfill your purpose. It is that desire that comes into you that I was born for more than this. I want to be more impactful. I want to contribute to life. I want to meet people's needs. I want to contribute much more better. I want to develop myself. I want to know myself more. So it is that need that you have within yourself, that a need to feel fulfilled, a need to reach your potential, a need to know that you are unique, that you are different from your sister or from the other colleague. What makes you unique? What makes you different? So understanding self-actualization is understanding that it is a need. And a need is that urge within you that you feel it must be met. And this particular need that I'm referring to of self-actualization is that urge in you that you want to feel valued. You want to feel relevant. You want to feel like you're contributing. You want to feel that you mean something. You want to feel that with if you don't exist anymore, life won't be complete without you. It is that feel in you that you know there is a uniqueness in you, and you want to find that uniqueness, and you want to be the best you can be. It is a feel for fulfillment and reaching potential and knowing yourself better and wanting to know that you are relevant. Now that need drives you to do something about yourself in your life. It drives you to educate yourself because you feel that you've got something to contribute. It drives you to read up. It drives you to develop yourself, to want to be a better you. It drives you to enhance yourself because you feel that there's something that you can contribute.
Thank you, Dr. Shirley. I'll give Dr. Leah a chance to share, to just ask a question. Dr. Leah.
My last question is, if you've analyzed or you've set up your strategic life plan on how you're going to attain your goals, and then you find out that it's going to cost you not only finances, but maybe time, family, and even your own career. What then do you do? Do you turn back, or do you revisit your strategic life plan, or what do you do at that point?
Excellent question. Like I said earlier on, it will require, and that is where you're building this from, it will require something from you. Your personal development will require sacrifices. Now, you need and that's why it's important to communicate your life plan. And especially if you are married, you would have to communicate that with your spouse, because now you're no longer alone. You need synergy, you need agreement in terms of how far it is that you go. So we're taking out finances as a possible obstacle. And now we realize that we've got so many obligations in our life. And I'll take my personal example. When I realized that I need to go and do my doctorate, I had to sacrifice what I was doing at that point in time. And I sacrificed my career to a very, very, very large extent. I put my career on hold because I knew that what I wanted to embark upon will add value to when I come back. So I put major projects on hold, and those major projects obviously had financial implications on it, but it is a decision that I had to take. I had to communicate with my family and say, look, I am going to embark upon this journey. I feel it is something very important. Do I have your support? And I had to inform my husband, who is a pastor, and I passed alongside of him. I had to inform him I would then have to reduce my responsibility at the church because this will require more time of me. So it required a lot from me. I had to sacrifice a lot. And I want to share it from a personal view, because this is that is how I find coaching to be helpful, is if you can have personal examples that you can identify with. And so what I then had to do is I lived for 5 years on a very strict time frame. My time was so calculated that everyone in my life knew what I was embarking upon, that they would not find it rude that if I tell them I don't have the time. I had to consider the fact that I have a family and I didn't want to go outside of the country. I did it in the States. I rather than opted to do it online with the opt of then just going for residentials. So it's those things that you then need to really plan out well, knowing that you will have to sacrifice a lot. The second thing is, are you able to see that sacrifice through? Because one of the principles in life is when you embark upon a journey and you want to embark upon a plan, you need to count the cost. And if you have counted the cost, you need to commit to it and say, well, I've counted the cost. I'm going to see this through. And obviously with the help of your support, social support, you will then have to see it through. But it's important to count it. Are you prepared to take the sacrifices? Are you prepared? And I heard so many counsels like, hey, your husband is going to cheat on you, going to leave you, your family is going to suffer and everything. So I needed to build that foundation, that strong wall of defense in my family, realizing that this is going to impact their lives. And so what I did is I included them in the journey of my walk of completing my studies. So you need to identify ways of how do you supplement the sacrifices that you are taking, and be able to ensure that you do not suffer loss because you want to gain something else. You need to manage the sacrifices, the cost of you embarking on your personal development.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. There's a question. There's a lot of students right now in the middle of this crisis of COVID-19. And as we know that the universities, the schools have closed, and suddenly people are online students and they have to adapt to a new style of learning. Now, you would find some of the students, or a lot of the students actually is experiencing a mental block. It's like it's very difficult because it's something new, but at the same time, they need to finish their studies or they need to continue. So I would like Dr. Shirley just to emphasize on the importance of education in this crisis or just in general, but also how do you combat against this mental block that you experience? And at the same time, it's a couple of questions in one, but it will link into it. I know that you have done psychology in your first degree, and I think public health in your master's, and then the doctorate. How did you encourage yourself? How did you get there? So it's the mental block during this crisis, and it's the importance of education, and how did you encourage yourself? How did you get there? That personal story.
Yeah.
Dr. Shirley.
Very good question. We need to understand what mental blocks are, because mental blocks are self-defense. That is the individual defending themselves, building up a defense against change that is taking place. And I love the fact that you asked that question, because if you don't deal with the mental block that takes place in your mind, you will not be able to progress. And what personal development, and tying it with education, because education is part of personal development. It's one of the strategies to develop yourself. If you have reached that place of mental blockage, you need to realize your system has built a self-defense mechanism to protect itself from the external world, from the external environment. Now, it is important that as we understand as individuals, inherent within us, that's how we are created, we find mechanisms to cope. And so mental blockage is one of those, because it becomes too much for you. So what you need to then start helping yourself is you need to realize that you are one of those type of people that do not adapt very well to change. And that's why you're having the mental blockage. So you need to understand the root cause of your mental blockage. And in a time like this, a crisis like this that is calling for change, and we know that change is inevitable, it makes us realize the type of person you are. So now you need to do some self-study of yourself and getting to know yourself better, to realize that the way you handle change is you block it out. And so now that you have understood that this mental blockage in my mind is my way of defending myself with the change that is taking place and what is happening, now you need to deal with it. And how do you deal with it? Is unpack it. It is very important to unpack what happens in our lives. It is important to unpack events that happen in our lives. And how do we unpack events that happen in our life? We need to ask ourselves critical questions. Why am I feeling the way I am feeling? Is what I'm feeling valid? Is there another way of thinking based on the way I'm thinking right now? So you need to ask yourself very tough questions. And what I'm thinking, is it objective? Does it make sense? What is a different viewpoint to that, so that you can take yourself out of this? Because now you need to take this event that has happened, stop internalizing it, because you've internalized it. That's why you're having the blockage. Now take it off, you put it somewhere else, and now scrutinize it, evaluate it, assess it, analyze it. Why is this happening? Is this helping me? Because once you take that event out of yourself, you have better control of it. And now you can question it and see if its validity passes the test. When you do that, you are then asking yourself critical questions, and asking yourself is really verbalizing, because we need to understand there's one way to think, and when you think, it is just internal. But when you speak it out, there's a different type of hearing that takes place, because now what you hear it in your mind, and you're now able to question what you are hearing. You're able to differentiate yourself between your thoughts and what it is that you are actually hearing. So because when it is something within ourselves, we become very subjective. But when it is external, for some reason, we are able to apply some objectivity to it. So when you question it to yourself and really verbalize it, you kick in within you the ability to be objective. And now you are able to look and question this mental blockage objectively, and look at how is it helping you, and how the advantage of it, the disadvantage of it, and how you will have to pay for it later. Then you now have to develop and tell yourself, look, change, get yourself the facts. Change is inevitable. You do not have control on external factors. You do not have control on the events that are happening externally. The thing that is required of you is to adjust yourself to what is happening, adapt to the changes that are happening. Now you need to progress it further and ask yourself, how can I adapt myself to what is happening? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Very important. Continue to embark on this, asking yourself these critical questions, so that you can look at it objectively. And when you look at it objectively in its own way, these are the things that we're not able to explain and reason. It changes your perspective and your perception about what is happening. And now you find yourself, you're making room actually to be able to do something about it. I can actually give it a try. What do I have to lose? Okay, let me see this online learning. Can it work? Can it not work? Now I am dealing with this with my older daughter that is also studying and now has to do online learning. These are the type of things that I'm coaching her through, so that she doesn't see it as a crisis, because very important, how you perceive something determines how you then feel about it. So if you are seeing this and viewing what is happening in the world as a crisis, guess what will happen? You then develop defenses against this crisis. But if you see it as an opportunity, guess what happens? Your inwardness then is quickened to see how you can maximize the opportunity. That is how we are wired as human beings. Now, taking it from my own personal journey in terms of what has helped me to remain steady on my own personal journey of personal development, like I had said, was after I did my first degree in psychology, I realized I don't just want to listen to people's problems and analyze what caused this problem and I didn't want to be therapeutic only. So what I did is I then started looking and how ways I can enhance myself. I developed my strategic plan. I saw that I'm a communicator. I had to start looking at ways that I can communicate myself, improve my communication skills. And that is when I embarked upon my certification in life coaching. I told myself, okay, wow, these are different ways of developing myself. So one of the key things that have helped me in this journey of developing myself is motivation. I even in times that there was no reason to be motivated, I had to tell myself, look here, the end of it is always better than the beginning. So I had to constantly motivate myself. So you will have to constantly motivate yourself, even in times that it looks so difficult. You must understand, studies in the US are very expensive. And so when those type of financial crises come and ways of that you're not able to continue any longer, you have to keep on pushing yourself, because then you're telling yourself, I have embarked upon a journey and I'm going to fulfill it. Another key thing that helped me is knowing my values and telling myself that I cannot be different from what I am doing now against my values. I have to act as someone that is value-based. And one of my values is you finish what you have started, no matter what. And so these are the type of things that I just had to toughen myself. I remember when I sat in my first class in that lecture hall in the States with all those white students and gray-haired people, and the lecturer is lecturing, and I could not understand a clue what they were saying. It's as if they were speaking above me because they were just at a completely different. I remember going to the lecturer and saying, I think I made a mistake to enroll on this program. I think it is best that I rather just drop out now than later. I underestimated what this would cost me, what this would entail me, and the level of thinking that I needed to have. And I thank God for that lecturer. He just said, look here, you are African, and I can see that you are intimidated by the people that are in your class. This is the time to prove yourself. You will see it through. Those are the words that carried me through this. And you need to have people around you that will support you during this time. The times that you feel like throwing in the towel, you need to have people that would support you, that can tell you, you can make this happen. So very important is you need to look at who is in your surrounding. Who is your support system? Are these people that are helping me move forward, or are they a distraction in my life, or are they pulling me backwards? Then if once you have done that analysis of assessment of who is in your life, who is in your support system, if they are not helping you to where you are going to, you need to start eliminating people. Because guess what? Where you are going to your vision, there are those people that cannot go with you. And you need to identify those people that cannot go with you to the fulfillment of your vision, and you need to start eliminating them. There will always be those that cannot go with you. There will always be those that will cheer you to go on towards fulfilling your vision, and there will always be those that will go along with you. So you need to identify the people, the circle of friends that you have, the circle of people that you have in your support system, and see if they are helping you or not. But very important, you need to have motivation. You need to have determination. You need to know your personality type. You need to know, are you someone that gets discouraged very easily and put measures in place? You need to know, are you a D and you are a pusher? If you are a pusher, then you need to know there will be a time that you will have to get people on board to continue supporting you. So your personality type also plays a role in you fulfilling your education and you seeing it through. And get to know yourself. Bottom line, get to know yourself. Invest in who you are. Know what you can handle, what you cannot handle, and keep on motivating yourself. Keep talking to yourself that you will see this through. I know there are times that there comes that you want to give up the towel. I've had that several times, but I had to keep on telling myself the end is better than where I am right now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shirley. You are getting me excited. And I'm just thinking a talk on education is really needed in a time such as this, even in this nation, where we can just encourage some students to keep pushing, keep growing, and we should not be intimidated by the change. I want to thank the viewers for being with us tonight. It has been an excellent topic. For those that have only come in now, I encourage you to go and listen to this program from the beginning. It's going to allow you to grow, and it's going to encourage you to the next level of your life. I would like to thank Dr. Leah and Valencia for being with us tonight on board. And I believe we have learned so much. I've made a lot of notes that I'm going to go into and check it out for myself. As I said, we are students of life and we want to grow. Dr. Shirley, I would like to thank you for your time, your experience, your knowledge that you have shared with us tonight. I know that it has been making a difference in somebody's life out there. And I had a question here where people are looking, somebody is looking for your contact details. So I said to Pastor Ina, she texts me, she must just get permission, and then maybe the contact details can be shared. If there's any other person like that that would like to know more about Dr. Shirley and her contact details, kindly inbox me and I will get the message to her, and then you can deal directly with her. Dr. Shirley, it was an awesome night, an awesome topic. thank you so much for being with us tonight. And for the viewers, thank you so much. Till Thursday evening at 7, we are having 2 topics left from the Wheel of Life. As I said, fun, leisure, or recreation, and romantic relationships, which includes marriage and single life. So you must get yourself ready for the next topic of the wellness program, discovering the areas of growth in the wheel of life. Dr. Shirley, thank you once again, and good evening, viewers. I am just asking that Dr. Shirley and Dr. Leah don't leave the meeting room as we are just going offline. Good evening, and may God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for having